So once upon a time, my companion was digging through the area book, which is just a book of a bunch of old teaching records and your current teaching records. It's just you're basically your computer as a missionary. So she was digging through it, seeing if there was anything old in it, and she stumbled across this old Mormon.org referral. That this was the springtime, and the Mormon.org referral was from like October or something like that. And she said, "Hey, Sister Chag, I don't know if the other missionaries ever stopped by on this person, but we should check on them the next time we're in that area." And I said, okay. It was in this little town called Perry, which was one of the towns that we were in charge of when we were in Stillwater. It's about 45 minutes away. So we'd go out there occasionally because we had less actives that lived there, and we had members that lived there. But it just started exploding after this happened. It was really, really interesting. It was so cool. We drove in the middle of nowhere. Perry is just this little podunk town, dirt roads. The dirt there is red, by the way. It's cool. It's kind of like southern Utah. And we find this house, we walk up to it, and there's a couple people sitting outside, and we say, "Hey, like, we're missionaries, we do our thing, and we say, we have this referral." And the woman who is smoking, she looks at it. She's like, "Well, that's my nephew that lived here a while back, but he's moved now." And so we're like, "Oh man, that's a bummer." But we talked to her, and we weren't able to spend too much time with her, and so we had to set up a return appointment. So we went back, and when we went back, we got to meet her brother. So her name was Cecilia, and her brother's name was Bill. But we didn't know that he was her brother, because when we got to the house, we sat down on the couch, and he just takes his wheelchair and goes to the completely opposite side of the room. And I'm just thinking, oh no, this guy does not want us here. He probably hates us. And so we chatted with Cecilia for a long time, and we introduced her to the Book of Mormon. Here again, we were running late because it was one of those things where we were in Perry for a little bit and we had to get back for something else. Cecilia had really poor health, and she was pretty sure she wasn't going to make it much longer, but she wanted to learn more about the church. And so we introduced the Book of Mormon to her, and we set up another return appointment. They said, "Okay, we're going to come, and we're not going to be late, and we're going to stay for this amount of time." It was just tricky because they live so far away. But the Spirit kept telling me to talk to Bill, and I knew that I would eventually. I was just dreading it. And so I said, "Hey, like, we're missionaries. What's your name?" And he was actually really friendly. He turned out to be really, really friendly. He was just sick, and he didn't want to get us sick, and so we wheeled his wheelchair all the way in the background. Long story short, we go back for our appointment, and that appointment actually, it was really kind of tricky because we set it up with Bill, and that day there was a lot of things going on. We didn't know if we should make the trip out to Perry because we didn't have that many miles in our car. So we said a prayer, and we said, "Heavenly Father, help us know if we're supposed to go, if this guy's really interested in learning more about the gospel, and if it's worth our time to go out and teach these people. And let us know soon so we can know if that's what we're supposed to do." And right after we finished the prayer, we received a text from Bill that replied to our text earlier, trying to confirm the appointment, that said that we could come over. So we took that as our answer, and we went and we taught him. Cecilia ended up not being so interested, but Bill was baptized about a month and a half later. He just caught on like fire, and I actually just got a text message from him a couple weeks ago saying that he has not only finished the Book of Mormon, but the Doctrine and Covenants as well. And it's just absolutely incredible. His sister ended up passing away towards the very end of my mission, right before he got baptized. And it was perfect timing in Bill's life because he had been praying actually to find a good church to go to. He hadn't been to church since he was 5, and he had been wondering if there was a church out there that was real, that was true. And so he had been praying to find that, and he had been praying for more peace about life in general. And knowing about the plan of salvation helped him get through his sister's passing. He was okay with it. I also find it just incredible that we met Cecilia right at the time that we were able to meet Bill, and then she passed. And so, super cool story. Another amazing story was when we were in Oklahoma City, and we had a Mormon.org referral for this kid named Connor Johnson to get a Book of Mormon. Actually, we didn't know he was a kid. Just a person. And so we had gone by 3 times, knock on the door to give this person a Book of Mormon, and they weren't answering. And so one afternoon, we were out with a member. Our appointment had fallen through, and we said, "Okay, Sister Woods, take us to this place. We're going to give it one last shot because this person wanted a Book of Mormon." And so we go there. We knock on the door, and this kid answers. He's like 17 years old. I said, "Hey, we're looking for Connor Johnson." He's like, "Yeah, that's me." We said, "Really? We finally found you." And we said, "Okay, well, we do our thing." We introduce ourselves, and we said, "You wanted a Book of Mormon?" And he said, "Yeah, I do." And then we realized that we didn't have a Book of Mormon on us. We literally are missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we didn't have a Book of Mormon on us. But we asked if we could still just come in and chat with him for a minute. He said, "Sure, I'm not doing anything." And so we had a few minutes before Sister Woods had to go and go into work, I think is what she had to do. And so we went in and we just kind of chatted about, like, just got to know him and asked him about the Book of Mormon, about what piqued his interest. He just said, well, just some kids at school sometimes talk about it. And he kind of knew the son of the old mission president that was there before I was there, because he went to school with him. And he knew Sister Woods' daughters a little bit. And so he had just kind of been around it, had heard about it, and he was interested in just picking it up. His parents had just gone through a divorce, and he's a senior in high school, and so just really cool timing. Anyways, so we said, okay, well, we can swing by later tonight and bring a Book of Mormon to you. Does that sound good? And he said, yeah, sounds good to me. And so we did that. We swung by the Book of Mormon. We told him to read it. We set up an appointment, and we said, okay, read like the first chapter or two. When can we meet with you for real? And so we set a return appointment. And a week later, he had started the Book of Mormon, and we taught him the Restoration. And this kid just caught on fire. It was really cute. He said once, I just thought that I was going to get this free Book of Mormon in the mail. I didn't know that I was signing up for all this. But he's so happy that he did, because he has now been baptized, and he is actually planning on coming to Salt Lake to receive his endowment in the spring. And he hopes to come to BYU for another year, and then he'll go on a mission. And he's just the coolest person ever. I love him.